But you know what? That's so weird because
Well, good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you tonight to our Hendersonville Regional Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, August the 1st, 2017. And would like to make note that it looks like everybody is here this evening, and we would like to welcome a brand new commissioner, Mr. Tim Altizer. And is that right? Altizer. Yeah. And so we welcome aboard. Thank you for being a part of our team, and we're looking forward to working with you. There are no public hearings. Requests for information assistance. Does anybody have any requests? Hearing none. Additions to the agenda. Anybody? Okay. Here, item number 5, the minutes of July 10, 2017. Move to approve by Ms. Atchley, second by Mr. Millsaps. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Abstention?
Okay, one abstention. Ms. McCormick. Anybody else? Okay. The consent agenda items, we have Indian Lake Village Phase 1, resub lots 4 and 33. Agree to all staff comments. Millstone Phase 4, Section 1, final plat. Agree to all comments. Millstone Phase 10, final plat. Agree to all comments. And Millstone Phase 11, final plat. Move to group and approve by Ms. Atchley, second by Ms. Stringfellow. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. There are no final plats, no preliminary and final development plans. Site plans, we have one, Cornerstone Primary Health Care. Mr. Free, who's handling this?
Mr. Whitten.
Applicants have agreed to all staff comments.
Applicants have agreed to all staff comments. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Ms. Ashley, second by Mark. Mr. Bristol. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have no sketch plats, no preliminary plats, no rezoning requests, 2 staff-approved projects, and we have other, and I believe Mr. Free has a presentation to make.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. This will just be brief. I just wanted to give a brief update of where we were at with, we've been waiting on the Benish Saundersville Road traffic report study, and we do have that in hand, and city staff is reviewing that to kind of get a full flavor of the recommendations and the comments from that report, as well as we have given that to the full report to the Forest Park developers as well, for them to look at that as they're considering their development and how that report could impact their development. One thing I'm looking to do, the report, the Saundersville the Saundersville Road traffic report, looking to maybe at August the 15th meeting, which normally would be our second meeting, which typically we haven't been having, but I would like to see if the commission would have interest in just having a work session, no voting or anything that would occur, but just have a work session where we could talk about this, the road traffic report for Saundersville. Also maybe have somebody here from Benish to discuss it. City staff would be here, and we could just maybe have a discussion about Saundersville Road and future development and how that could impact it. Some of that may bleed into the Forest Park development and how that would impact it, but mostly just really focusing on this report and kind of preparing the commission for if and when the Forest Park would come back on before the commission for consideration, that issue at the last meeting, you know, over the off-site traffic improvements was pretty significant, and the commission was wanting more information on it. This would give us an opportunity just to really spend a little bit of time discussing that. Also, it impacts more than just the Saundersville area. I think as a commission discussing how we're going to look at these off-site improvements as we're looking at other developments that aren't even before us now, that might be somewhere in the peninsula area, could be something off Indian Lake, you know, that could have traffic impacts, you know, kind of focusing how are we looking at these different things and what kind of considerations are we taking as we're looking at projects. Because we have our land use and transportation plan, which says what kind of roads we would like at different different widths and where we want connectivity and things like that. But then, looking at things that would be off-site of a particular project, looking at what would be the expectation that we might expect a developer, to cover some of those additional costs. Because I think one of the things that we've seen in most, other than tonight, in most of our last 5 meetings that we've had, was significant interest from the public, about concern about traffic and development and things like that. And so if it would be something that we could have just a meeting to discuss that. Additionally, we could discuss very briefly, since now I am in the role of the new leadership role of the director, just talk about some interaction between the commission and the director and the planning staff, and so that we can, talk about some things that might be on your all's mind that you would like to see, as we move forward in staff reports and things like that, or additional information that you would like to see in the future at meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Free, and I'd like to go ahead and say, let's put that meeting on the calendar, and since we're not voting, we will go ahead and have it, and just whoever can come. I do believe that this Benesh study, and honestly and truly, what we have been hearing over the past several months in these meetings, I think is a heart cry for infrastructure improvement and that kind of thing, and of course it's going to take our recommendations as well as the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. And so for us to come together and have an open forum, no voting, just to talk about the issues that are there and to be proactive about it. And then with a new planning director, for us to be able to hear kind of his vision, his working style, and and a new chairman, and I think it would be good for us just to come together and talk about some of these issues that we all know are there, and to work some ways forward. So I'm very much in for it. Thank you, Mr. Free. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I did have a question.
Can you hold on the motion
Yeah.
to adjourn? Mr. Lee has a question.
Yeah.
In spite of the objection, I
Mr. Lee.
When we have our meeting on the 15th, and I know we're going to be looking at the traffic study and the infrastructure, I would like for the staff to also do a little preliminary review of impact fees and what those fees are in our surrounding communities, so that we can look at that topic with some knowledge and information available for us to discuss. It appears to me, instead of going from project to project to project and saying this is the impact fee for them because they have more road improvements and this is no impact fee here, that we ought to be looking at some sort of uniform approach to be able to provide the revenue for the infrastructure so our community can continue to grow, but to grow in the very right way.
It's a proper request, and it's a good one, and I think staff is kind of working on that as well, so that's good.
I do have a question.
Mr. Free.
Yeah, we can definitely do that and bring some information. We've been looking at that. I would like to ask some clarity if the commission would want to give the Forest Park developers, if they wanted to, an opportunity to discuss, what they're thinking of the traffic report from Benesh, or I just wanted to see if that was something that the commission was open to or wanted me to request. They haven't really requested to participate, but I just wanted to check to see.
Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I would suggest that they not participate, that we have a session where we can be open and free and discuss any and every kind of project. Since there was so much public outcry and concern at the public hearing, I think for us to be having a private meeting with the developer could be suspect to many citizens. So I would suggest we not.
Okay, I totally agree with that. I think it's a smart move. We like I said before, we really need to digest this report, and it's a huge report. It's in some ways, it's got numbers, but all at once, it's massive. Over a long period of time, it's doable, but we just need to balance that in light of all the numbers of projects around this city except on the Saundersville Road. You've got others in this town, and so we just need to take a look at it. Don't think we're going to handle it all in one meeting, but we do need to set a sense, and so I totally concur with that. So, all right. And Mr. Free's got an announcement of the Power of 10. We're coming to you, Mr. Millsap.
Take your time, Mr. Chairman, you're in charge.
There's a Power of 10 conference, one-day kind of event, and I think several of you went last year. It was down in Nashville.
What's the date?
This is going to be on August the 23rd from 9 to 3. We probably would meet here at about 8. We kind of carpool, and there's lunch provided and everything. It's kind of an interesting thing. What I'm going to do is I'll email this out to everybody in the morning, and if you'd have interest to go, I'll give you kind of a time frame to get back with me. Just let me know, and I'm going to be going, and anybody that wants to go, that would be good. And if you do go, it will meet your requirement for continuing education as a planning commissioner as well. So I'll send you all the information on it in the morning.
Thank you, Mr. Free. Mr. Millsap.
Mr. Chairman, I renew my motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned, second. Mr. Pinson, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.